So you want to play War Pike, but you just want to spin in circles over and over and over again and not worry about anything. Well, I've got the build for you. This is a kind of more of a just for fun build, but it works for a lot more content than it has any right to work for. I've ran this build through Heroic Escalation, through 10 to 50 escalations. I've even ran this build in Gauntlet to surprisingly good success. So let's jump down in and check out this new War Pike build that I've dubbed the Immortal Beyblade, because that's all you're going to be doing with this build. Now you can run this build one of two ways, either with the Radiant weapon or the Shock Escalation weapon. I'm going to recommend you run the Radiant weapon because sometimes, even if it is the Immortal Beyblade, sometimes you just end up dead before you can get everything rolling with this build. So for the weapon, we're going with Millennium's End with a +3 Earth Cell and a +3 Aegis. So for the special, we're going with Reckless Leap. This synergizes really well to get you back into the fight after the behemoth repositions. For the mod, we're going with the munitions amplifier because if the behemoth is rapidly repositioning, at least we can get some bigger leaps off on it. You can also use the special for the crit amplifier buff if you want. I was using that one in group play, but I think the Reckless Leap is a little bit more entertaining to play, and we're going for fun on this build, not optimal. For the bond, we're going with the Spire of Dawn. That's going to give us +3 cunning and a chance to double attack. Now, it is essential with this build that you use the Bastion Omni Cell. Skarn's Defiance, I feel like, is pretty much mandatory for the Lantern slot on this build, but you can use a different one if you want. I would definitely try it out with Skarn's Lantern, and if you feel like something else would be more effective, change it after the fact. For the cell on this, we're going to go with the Etheric Attunement Cell. You can build this build two ways. You can either go Etheric Attunement if you just want to be lazy and have fun with the build, or you can go Catalyst if you want to absolutely destroy stuff. For the helmet, we're going with Wolf Mane. This is going to give us +3 Aegis, and we're going to pop another +3 Earth Cell in there. For the jacket, we're using the Shrave Wing Jacket. This is going to give us +3 Adrenaline, and we're going to throw a +3 Endurance Cell in there. This is going to be our primary source of extra damage besides the Earth Cell. For the gloves, we're going with Fiery Gauntlets. This is going to give us +3 Endurance, and we're going to slap a +3 Cunning Cell in there. For the boots, we're going with Shrave Wing Boots with +3 Adrenaline, and we're going to slap either +3 Etheric Attunement or +3 Catalyst in there. Whichever one you put in the Lantern, just max it out to +6. This is going to give you your Lantern recharge rate to keep Skarn's Lantern up, which is going to be pretty essential to this build in providing extra shields for extra Aegis buffs and extra damage from the Earth Cell. Now we're going pretty standard on the tonics here with an Ether Drive tonic, which I think is the main tonic you need to worry about with this build. The Frenzy tonic for extra damage and the Blitz tonic for extra attack speed. These all synergize really well with the build. If you want to get rid of one of these, the one I would get rid of is either the Blitz tonic or the Frenzy tonic for the Assault tonic for some extra stagger damage if you just want a little bit more control over the fight. All right, for the perk breakdown, we've got +6 Adrenaline, granting us 3% extra damage for every 10 stamina we're missing. Aegis, which is going to increase the amount of shields we receive by a whopping 20%, but also the key part, what makes this the Immortal Beyblade, is after gaining 1,000 shields from any source, ignore the next incoming attack within 15 seconds. With the rapid attack speed from the heavy attack on the War Pike, this is going to build up shields really quick with the Bastion's on hit effect, and that's where you're getting your immortality from. It's not from the shields. It's from gaining too many shields and getting a free dodge, basically. That lasts for 15 seconds, completely ignores the hit. Then we've got either our +6 Etheric Attunement, which is going to reduce the Lantern cooldown by 50%, or our +6 Catalyst, which is going to increase the effectiveness and duration of our tonics by a whopping 60%. Now, the +6 Catalyst is going to give you a very similar effect to Etheric Attunement because of the Ether Drive tonic. But it's also going to give you increased damage from the Frenzy tonic and increased attack speed from the Blitz tonic, or increased stagger damage from the Assault tonic. So for optimal play, I would definitely recommend the +6 Catalyst. If you're not looking to drink tonics every fight, the Etheric Attunement is your next best option for this build. Then we've got +6 Cunning. This is going to give us 10% critical strike chance and 30% critical strike damage, and you're going to be critting relatively often with this build just because of the sheer amount of attacks you're going to be getting in. +6 Earth, which is going to be an essential part of this build because in order to get that Aegis buff up, you have to reduce the amount of shields you have. And rather than reducing them by being hit, we're going to reduce them by making them into raw damage. Raw core damage. Hitting a behemoth with an attack while your shields are over 200 will detonate all your shields, depleting them and dealing damage equal to 4 times the value of the shields removed. But at +6, you also gain 100 shields after doing that, which is going to give you 120 shields because of Aegis and get you that much closer to causing another shield detonation. Now, every time you detonate your shields, that's 120 shields going to that Aegis buff on top of the shields you're getting from the Bastion hit and from the Skarn's Lantern. You should have almost 100% uptime on the Aegis buff unless the behemoth gets a quick double strike in, and that's why this is the Immortal Beyblade. Then last up we have +6 endurance, gaining 100 stamina. Now, because we're going to be doing nothing but heavy attacks with this build, that +6 adrenaline is going to be a big chunk of our damage gain on this build. With the +6 endurance, +6 adrenaline, and the Slayer's Path, you are going to be able to get up to 70% extra damage from adrenaline. And that's why we're running with this +6 endurance here, because we don't really have a lot of room to add extra damage to this build. Now, normally on a lot of my builds at this point, I would put up some gameplay of this build, but the gameplay of this build is basically just big numbers from spamming right click with the War Pike. It's a really fun build, and it's pretty easy to put together. I mean, other than the earth cells, and if you don't have the earth cells, you're not going to be able to get this build up and running, but if you do have the earth cells, and definitely a nice one to put into your toolkit. I use this one mostly on live stream. If you guys want to see this build in action, just jump on the live stream and check it out. Normally, I would put gameplay of the build right here. I'm not going to, because I have so much of the gameplay of it on live stream, and it's not anything special. It's not anything exciting. What I use this build for is keeping up with chat. This is my live stream hack build right here, because when chat gets busy, I'll flip over to this build so I can keep up with chat, because I don't have to worry about dodging. I don't have to worry about anything. I just spam right click and chill out and talk to chat. So that's what this build is essentially for. If you guys are looking for a Dauntless community to join, I've got a link in the video description for socials and Discord. If you click that link and click the Discord link, we've got an active and thriving Discord community, and you guys are welcome to join that. We've got more builds on there if you guys are looking for something a little bit different. And we have an active guild that is participating in the leaderboards for Gauntlet if you guys are looking for an active guild to join. If you are a newer player to Dauntless, I will leave a link to a video right here with a pre-escalation build that uses no legendary items. It's a good starting point for those of you that still need to farm escalation to get your first legendary weapon or some other escalation equipment out of there. And until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.